Sit back, strap in, and get ready for After Hours with TC Restani. This is Abigail Harwich, executive producer, welcoming you to the show. And now, TC Restani!
Alrighty, welcome to the After Hours with TC Restani, the podcast. I'm TC Restani, emanating from the palatial podcast penthouse, here for an unbelievable episode of After Hours with TC Restani, the podcast. And I'm going around the horn right now and introduce my esteemed panel of experts. The QB, the milkman himself, Quincy Briscoe.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay there, Quince. What about you?
I'm all right.
Good. You got a little Band-Aid on your head.
Yeah, we just got rid of a cyst. You
got rid of a cyst. All right, well, we'll get into that momentarily.
It's no big deal. Yeah, well,
it's no big deal. All right, there's just blood, gauze everywhere and everything like that. But over here, to my immediate right, is my mentor, Mr. Ricky Bittman, spotting a new red baseball cap.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but more importantly, this one's for you wherever you are.
This one's for you.
Quincy made it through
He
the
did.
rain.
He won. We had a great night, didn't we? I got to see that fantastic show, and you got to shake hands with Barry Manilow.
Well, so did I. I even shook his hand.
I know,
too.
but it's Quincy. That's like Barry meeting you as like celeb to celeb. I mean,
all right, you're right. You're right. He did come over and he goes, "Hey, TC."
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's seen you before at the damn napkin. I mean,
well, that is true. Many years ago, and I think he wrote that song "Massachusetts." The summer,
the weekend in New
England, because of all the connections.
All I was doing
at the damn napkin.
just helping a good friend out.
Well, you helped me out, Quinn. Is that what
like
is
I
it?
said, you're a very, very good friend.
Well,
beautiful signature. Was it nice?
It was a beautiful signature.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know these things.
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
a week ago tonight,
Idiots.
Barry Manilow was on his worldwide tour, and he made a little pit stop here in Boston, Massachusetts, at the Garden. I do not call that place the Boston Garden.
I get it.
The TD Garden, and you were in attendance.
Oh, we had a great night, really. I mean, Abby came through in a big way with great seats. Oh,
someone did the wrong
close
button.
that window.
Someone did the wrong one. There we go. Okay.
And we really did. We had a very special night. And it was tremendous. But like I said earlier when we were talking, I said, the men's rooms were empty. It was great. I could go in the men's room and just take a leak when I needed to and come right back out.
See, it's not like the old Boston Garden where they had the piss troughs.
Oh, dear God, no. They did, Quincy. It was a mess.
It was looks like something from like the Roman Colosseum.
Yeah. But back then you didn't care.
You didn't care. As long as you had to go, went in and went back to watch the event.
I have a lot of stage fright when I go into men's rooms. I'm
not. You're not alone. I have to go in a stall.
I do too. And when I don't go in a stall, I literally could punch myself in the face because 9 times out of 10, the result is awful. Some SOB will come in whistling. I wish I could whistle better. I mean, I was in one. The guy is just whistling the loudest whistle coming out of a human mouth I've ever heard. I'm like, I'm trying to do something here. I don't need this. And then what stall does he pick, or what urinal? The one right next to me.
And that just makes it creep back up.
Exactly.
Right. I hear you.
I don't know how many times I've actually faked I completed the
right
act,
just to go to the stall.
washed my hands, dried them, then washed my glasses so he would leave. Then go in the stall because I know any minute the door's going to open and someone else is going to come.
Right, I know the feeling. But
good to know I'm not
you
the
were there at the Garden and you were texting me, telling me when he was leaving the stage.
Yes, the plan, ladies and gentlemen. TC said, "Listen, do me a favor. Text me as soon as he's leaving the stage," and I did it. I was very successful, by the way. I remembered. I wasn't overtaken by the show. I said, "I got these guys are relying on me. I have to send this text." And as soon as he walked off, boom, and he did no encore.
I just got the text and she said, "Done." That was it.
Yep.
So Quincy and I went over to the Four Seasons, the infamous Four Seasons across the street from the Boston Common.
Yeah.
And wishing that South Boston Jeff was there. We always used to get to an event like 3 hours in advance. I mean, we got to the hotel before he even went on stage for you. All right, so we staked our claim, I guess, our location where we wanted to be.
So now take me through the steps now. As somebody like who's listening to this podcast, who's not an autograph hound,
all right,
they'll say, "Geez, how do you go about meeting Barry Manilow?" They wouldn't even know the first thing. What's the first thing you do?
All right, the first thing I do is I call my autograph collector connections and say, "Listen, where is he staying?"
Yeah.
So they go through their network, get back to me, and tell me the location of the hotel. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, 90% of the musicians that performed at the Garden stayed at the Four Seasons. Now there are luxury hotels everywhere in Boston. So they could, and some of them probably don't even stay in Boston. Some of them could actually fly home right after their gig. So he was in Providence, Rhode Island the night before, but he was staying in Boston. So the Hounds tracked him to the Four Seasons, saw him leave actually for Providence on Tuesday, waited for him to come back. He was tired. He didn't do it. So I was like, that's not a good sign. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go. I called the QB. I said, Quincy, we're going to go stack stock Barry Manilow. Haven't slept, ladies and gentlemen. And there were like two other Hounds there. So I knew who they were. And they were like, one of them's this Irish kid. He goes, yeah, he took off. He left there earlier. He didn't do it then. But see that prick that's standing by the door over there? That guy that kind of looked like him? He's with them. So
that prick.
That's exactly what he said. So he says, when that prick comes out and starts getting on the phone, you know it's coming. So about 20 minutes before Barry Manilow, after you said done, that guy comes out of the hotel and he's just looking around. He's probably scoping around thinking how many people are actually out here waiting for Barry Manilow. And there were only, like I said, 3 or 4 of us waiting.
Wow.
And he went back into the hotel and then he came out again and the autograph collector goes, he's probably on his way. So an hour almost to the second that you said done, his SUV pulled up right in front of the Four Seasons, which used to be a revolving door. It's no longer a revolving door. And he gets out on the door closest to the hotel. And then this gentleman over here spots him and starts singing what?
Copacabana.
How'd you do it?
I says, hey, Barry Manilow, Copacabana. And then that's how I tracked his attention. I would just have him come over and to help.
He did. He came right from his where he was.
He might not have even come over.
He probably would not have come over. In the SUV, came around the SUV with one security guy, and walked right over to Quincy. And the picture that you see on the screen right now, Barry was moving, so he's kind of a little bit out of focus. But there he is shaking Quincy's hand.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a superstar.
I mean, literally, you and how many people were there? Probably like 20,000 people.
Yeah. The place was sold out.
Sold out. Wishing what we could do a few blocks away, and Quincy's standing there holding a Diet Coke in his hand, like he's just shooting the shit with Barry Manilow.
Helping my good friend and nothing.
You did a great job.
You did, and he signed my album, which is an unbelievable album. It's an authentic album from like the 1970s.
I meant to ask you, you didn't buy that for this event. You had it, right?
I actually got it as a birthday gift many, many years ago.
Oh, so you do kind of like Barry.
Oh, no, I enjoy Barry Manilow's music. Of course, I'm not afraid to admit that. And he signed it in blue Sharpie.
Very nice.
And it's now put away. So, because Barry Manilow, people may rag on him because it's Barry Manilow. That guy's a legend.
Oh, there's no question about it. There's no question about it.
In the 20th century, he's probably in, what would you say, maybe the top 8 musical talents of the 20th century?
I mean, the number one hits, it's just like, it's incredible. I mean, his fingerprint is all over entertainment. And entertainers like Barry Manilow.
And he's and his famous jingles.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Back in the 70s?
Right.
Jeez. Now, I wish I had thought to get an album of my own and give to him, to have him sign.
Well, you were literally only a couple blocks away.
Well, you know what? It was just one of those things, because we park about a mile from the Garden. We go over by the Constitution. That's where we park. $18.
Why don't you just take the train in?
Because the train isn't running. The Orange Line has bus service between Oak Grove and North Station.
Oh, sorry.
And that is just brutal for me. So we drove in.
Well, you could have skedaddled. That's not that far of a walk.
No, I had nothing for him to sign. You
could have got a selfie.
Yeah, true, but
you could have gotten a selfie.
It would have been one of those ones that I come out looking like a douche.
But whatever. It was unbelievable that we got to meet Barry Manilow. The man is 82 years old.
He'll be 81, actually.
Excuse me, 81?
He'll be 81 this month.
And he's still touring. I looked up his schedule. That guy, the next night, he was in Montreal.
Yeah, here's the deal. Watching him live,
right?
You just know that he absolutely loves every second he's on that stage.
Sure.
That's what he lives for.
It's not like he needs the money.
No. That's where he comes alive. I guarantee. Now, there was some pictures of him strolling around Boston. He was on Newbury Street. I don't know what day it was, but there were pictures taken of him walking up and down Newbury Street. No one was bothering him or anything like that. But, you can see he's shuffling along. He's old. But when he was on that stage, I'm telling you right now, He could move.
He came right over to us. It was, it wasn't like, hesitation at all. He was like, "Hey, fellas, how are you?"
Now, did you notice he's very tall?
He is.
He's over 6 feet tall.
And it's Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a stunt double or anything like that. It was Barry Manilow.
And Doug, our good friend Doug Palumbo down in New Jersey, he put it best. He said, "Who is that guy that got lucky enough to meet Quincy?" So say thank you to Doug for that compliment.
Well, thank you, Doug, for the awesome compliment.
Yep, it was very heartfelt. Doug is a huge fan of yours, and he was more impressed with the fact that Barry got to meet you than you got to meet Barry. Doug knows talent. Let's just put it that way.
He does know talent, and I know Quincy Briscoe, and he's very talented. And, publicly I want to thank you, Quincy, for getting Barry to come over and sign the album.
Wow.
You're very welcome.
It was fantastic. I've had a lot of luck at that hotel.
Yeah, there seems to be where you always seem to get
except
him.
with Elton John.
Oh, I can only imagine. She probably had a hair across his ass.
I'll tell you that story. But yeah, I've gotten Billy Joel there.
Wow.
I've gotten Tony Bennett there. God, who else have I got?
You got Jay Leno there.
No. I got him at the Charles Hotel over in Harvard
I could have
Square.
sworn that was over.
It was not.
Damn.
All right, Elton John. Elton John came back with a police escort, all right? And this was back in like 97. And he was playing the Garden. And he pulled up. He had a limo. He didn't have an SUV.
Yeah.
And he got out of the limousine, and there was a decent sized crowd there of collectors. There was probably like 12 or 13 collectors, and it was late at night. It was after a very late show, and he got out of the thing, and everyone's like, Mr. John Elton, and he goes, "Fuck off."
Oh.
Then he goes in the revolving door and comes out and goes, "Sorry," and then goes back in.
He probably meant it. He's like, he just wasn't in the mood.
He probably didn't
But
want to
still,
get
12 or 13 people, come on. I mean, that's manageable.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. Now, I thought there was going to be quite a more people there at Barry Manilow.
Well, I just think people just don't know anymore.
They just don't know where to get them. But that, if you ever want to know when someone's coming to town in Boston, you really want to know, just drop me a line. I could probably get a.
Remember the night we tried to get McCartney and we missed out? He was there the night before.
It was.
And what's his name said, "Oh, TC, you missed out. He posed, he signed." Remember?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Wasn't Pearlswig.
No. Was it that Tipper-nose guy?
Could have been. And that's a long
I feel
time
funny
ago.
saying these names. I don't feel like I'm allowed to say
The only
these
person
names.
who blew us off there was The Rock.
But he
didn't actually physically blow out. They brought him underneath underneath garage.
Him, honest to
So you know what?
God.
Barry Manilow is a bigger name than The Rock.
No question. Barry Manilow is going to be remembered decades, eons after he's gone. His music.
His
is
music
going
will be
on.
playing for eternity.
Yeah.
So.
But he really did a great job on that show. I'm going to tell you, I've seen him a lot of times thinking that this was going to be a very weak performance because of his age. But I'm telling you, it's right up there with like the second time I saw him.
I've actually saw a part of that concert. Someone posted it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they have the one from Montreal the next night.
Yeah, he was
Quincy's
great.
fingerprints were all over Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
Up in Montreal.
Yeah. He went right into the lobby and used the wood chipper.
Look at Quincy over there crying. But yeah, that was great. And some other names that are coming to town, I don't know, but we'll track them down.
Yeah.
And you went to see, I heard, a colleague of mine,
Yes.
Mr. Jay Leno.
Great Jay Leno. This was Tasha and I were just like, you know what? Let's just go.
That was
And,
last Friday night over at the
The
Chevalier.
Chevalier Theater, and he started. The ticket said 7:00, and I said, he's gonna come on because Barry came on like right at. He had an opening act, and he came right on like 7:40. But Jay, I said he doesn't have an opening act. I know he's gonna come out very close. Sure enough, 7:10. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Leno, when he walks out, and he just starts joke after joke after joke.
They didn't play his theme song.
Nope, nothing. He just walked out. He had 2 bottles of water, which he never touched during the show, on a stool. And the first thing he says, it's a little sad news out of Hollywood today. Did you hear about Tom Selleck? And the whole audience just like gasped and they held him. You could just feel the room. And he goes, turn down for a reverse mortgage, which I thought was funny. And that was like the launching pad. And even Tosh, who doesn't have the greatest sense of humor.
You said it, not me.
Even though she's involved with me, it takes a lot to make her laugh. She enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think she was surprised at
Did you ever watch bum fights?
No.
Right.
She probably would. That would probably interest her, actually. But, as the show was going on, she just took a great delight in the fact that he could remember his act. I said, well, he's done it a lot and everything.
I mean, the dude is, what, 75, 76 years old?
I think he's 70. 76, I think.
Yeah,
I think
76 years old.
And
People don't realize how long Jay Leno's been around.
Yeah. Oh my
I mean, he
God.
used to write for Jimmy Walker back in the early 70s.
He left home when he was 19 years old.
Went to Emerson.
Yeah, he's he's 19.
North Andover, Mass.
Yep, that's right. And he told this great story about it. He went back to visit his father and mother, and this is like in the 90s.
Okay.
And the house is exactly the same. He goes to use the bathroom, the exact same bathroom, the exact same toilet seat. He sits down on the toilet, he cracks the toilet seat, all right?
I've done that with an old toilet.
And he takes the toilet seat off, and he goes downstairs, and his father immediately goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, I sat down on the toilet, I cracked it, I'm going to get on the hardware store, buy one. No. Father leaves the room, he comes back, he has the guarantee. 38 years old, this slip of paper is. He goes, he brings this thing out, he hands it to me, it looks like the Magna Carta. It's all faded and brittle. So sure enough, it was a 38-year warranty on this thing. He brought it to the same hardware store that he bought it 38 years ago, and he wanted a free toilet seat.
Did he get it?
Well, Jay's going. So the guy gave him the toilet seat. Jay was motioning to the merchant, just give him the toilet seat. And Jay went back later and paid for it. But I thought that
Probably
was
like $100 or something.
that was a great story. But I mean, all his jokes were just great. There was no politics. There was no hurt feelings. There was no talking about LGBT. He told some funny jokes about Trump. He told some funny jokes about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And it was even across the
Did he talk about his fire incident?
He did, well, someone asked him about how he's doing with all his accidents, and he just said, stuff happens. And he
He did a Q&A?
At the end, he goes, "Are there any questions?" And what was the question I wanted to ask him? Oh, damn, I can't remember what it was. It was a pretty good one too. Oh, I was gonna say to him, when you had your first accident, when you were burned, I figured I'd wait because people would probably laugh. I was going to say, I sent you a get well card. Did you get it? I was going to ask because I did send one in care of Jay Leno's garage.
Wow.
So I sent them a get well card.
I've actually seen Jay Leno's garage. I'm not in it. It's an airport hangar over the Burbank Airport.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all of this stuff. He has no kids.
No. He's been married to Mavis for like 100 years.
And I guess his brother just died not too long ago. He had I think it was an older brother who passed away. Yeah, he was old. He served in Vietnam. He passed away recently from cancer. He was a lawyer, and he has no offspring or anything like that. And I feel like saying, Jay, hit me up.
Hey, why not?
$2 million. That's all I need.
I bought Doritos because of you.
There's so many things. I always found him to be very, very funny.
He has never spent 1 cent of the money he made from The Tonight Show.
Really?
All the money he's spent on everything was from like comedy gigs and endorsements and whatnot.
I believe it 100%.
So that guy at his prime was probably getting like, $15 to $20 million a year.
Yeah. And he loves doing his act. Again, another guy who just loves performing.
And I don't know if he still does it now, but he would never know where he was going. They would just give him the ticket.
Yeah.
And go, and I'm in Saginaw, Michigan.
Yeah, and he would stay at just like the four, not the Four Seasons necessarily, but just like some hotel.
Yeah,
not
Holiday Inn Express.
But, yeah, like a Holiday Inn Express. And he was like, what do I need? What do I need?
Yeah, no. I met Jay a bunch of times. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And he just, he got a bad rap during that whole thing with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, he talked about the Letterman thing. He said, you talked? He goes, Dave and I are friendly. He says, hey, look at me, put it this way. And this is kind of what you said that one night. He said, when it comes to a game, who do you go after? The guy with the ball. I had the ball.
Right.
They all wanted to take me down. And I thought that was a good way to end it. You didn't want to elaborate. Why elaborate?
It's been 30 plus years.
But it sucks because him and Letterman were so organic. They never socialized. So when they did go on the air on the show, it was just fresh.
Well, I'm getting back to they were both writers for Jimmy Walker.
True, right, exactly. And they were just so funny together. I'll never forget, one of my favorite jokes of all time, and if I said it, just stop me, but he talked about Gainsburgers. Did I mention this?
Gainsburgers?
Remember Gainsburgers in the 70s? It was like 70s and 80s was a dog food.
Oh, the dog food, yeah.
That came... shaped like a hamburger.
Wow, I remember they were pinkish. Yeah.
And they were wrapped in cellophane and they were in the shape of a hamburger patty.
Yes, I do remember.
And he goes,
those.
have you seen this stuff, Gainsburgers? He says, what is the point behind this? Is this to save the dog the trouble from actually forming the patty himself? Which I always thought was a great line. And it killed me. And he used to do the thing, what's grinding my gears, long before they did it on Family Guy. Dave would say, what's grinding my gears, Dave? Or sometimes he would read through the TV guide.
Sure.
And he would just make it hilarious.
Getting back to the Gainsburgers, they look like Big League Chew made into a hamburger patty.
Yeah. But he's right, though. You're feeding your dog. You open the cellophane and What's the idea of the patty shape? I don't get it.
Maybe he wants to feel involved. I don't know. At
but
the
you still have
barbecue,
to crumble it up. You just don't like throw him the patty. Even in the commercial, they crumbled
well,
it
in
up.
my house, we just threw the patty. Actually, in my house, my dog never had dog food.
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say your dog didn't eat dog.
That's why he lived 18 years. All right.
Your dog was a big fan of calzone, wasn't it?
Calzone, turkey dinners, ice cream, all the good stuff.
Tosh had a dog that her old man used to feed him the leftover lasagna.
Yeah, no. Our dog was a little corgi, little tiny legs and whatnot. Those little dogs only live maybe 7 or 8 years.
Oh, that's sad.
This dog lived 18 years.
Oh dear God, cats don't even live that long.
Because all we did was feed it regular food, and not once did that dog have dog food. Not once. Not once at all. But getting back to that whole NBC Jay Leno thing that's 16 years ago now.
16?
Yeah, it was in 2009.
Was it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's 16 years
That makes
ago.
me feel good. Jeez.
I was always a fan of Jay Leno. I thought the whole David Letterman thing, that was a different thing. But the whole Conan deal Conan was funny. I'm not saying Conan wasn't funny at all.
Agreed, 100%.
I mean, but he like Letterman, he geared towards a younger audience.
Right.
The old biddies aren't going to get what he's going to talk about. The old biddies weren't going to get David Letterman throwing pencils through the windows or stupid pet tricks or jumping in with an Alka-Seltzer suit, and whatnot. They had Johnny talking to Lonnie Anderson, or whatnot. And the same thing applied to Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien had the younger, hipper audience.
Yep.
And at 11:30, no one was going to buy that.
That's right.
So they put him at 11:30, and then they wonder why the audience said, no, we're not watching this.
Yeah.
Advertisers backed out of it because he wasn't drawing ratings. That's the only reason they got rid of him.
And despite the fact that he was funny, Conan was very rough his first few times out. I mean, he was rough to watch. He
Excuse
looked
me.
very uncomfortable. Yes, sir.
When you say Conan, is that Baldo Conan?
No,
Conan.
Conan O'Brien, the
Not Dan Aykroyd from Coneheads, no.
Oh,
I'm from France.
I'm from France. I'm right to the consumer quantities and enjoy.
I think that's where you are right now, France, consuming mass quantities. Back to what we were talking about over
That
here.
is unacceptable.
Maintain low tones with me, Quincy. Maintain low tones.
Is that French milk?
There's French milk. It is tasty.
Oui, oui.
Wee wee.
You drink enough of that, you're going to have to go wee-wee. But yeah, I mean, crazy to think. I watch all these videos 3 in the morning, all the late night talk show controversies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And another thing I've been looking out there, since we're attempting to come back to the TV version.
Yeah.
I've been looking at a lot of people who doing talk shows. There's a lot of people out there that are doing it. There's one guy who does it out of his garage in New York, a little outside of New York City.
Yeah.
It's amazing. There's some people where they're building talk shows.
And he probably gets huge guests too, right?
He probably gets huge guests, yeah, because he does.
How do we not get them?
I don't know. We have to get.
We gotta get those young eggheads you hang out with in the studio.
They can't even get guests for their own programs.
That's true. That's true.
Well, we're going to talk about the guy who invented the joystick. I mean, I have no idea. So
we'll get the guy that owns the local pizza joint.
Well, which one? All right, if you listen to this podcast and you know anybody out there that is a booking agent for talent on there, drop me a line on my Twitter, or X, at After Hours TC. You can follow me also on Instagram at TC Restani, and Facebook. You can go yourself.
Oh, maybe Eddie Deason will be on when we come back on the air.
You gonna fly him in?
It probably doesn't cost much.
You're going to fly him in?
Let me see now.
What is he, from North or South Carolina?
He's in South Carolina. I got friends down there. If they ever come up this way, I'll say.
Cousin Leo just did a trip down to South Carolina.
He left his house?
He called me up and he goes, TC, I'm going down to South Carolina with a friend to do a business exchange. I didn't ask him what the business exchange was.
I wouldn't either.
But he kind of told me what it was.
What was it?
He got his hands on a Winnebago.
Oh, dear God.
I don't know if it's for you, but him and a friend.
I want to see this.
Drove all the way down there. I go, you're not making meth somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't like the South. I just don't like it.
Oh, he's crazy.
No. What am I crazy? I just don't like the South down there. Oh, he was telling me. He goes, we stopped off at a strip club. I think it was in Virginia.
Perverts.
And I go, yeah. And he goes, if you wanted some extras, this isn't like Rhode Island when you give them $50 and, you leave them with a big smile. He goes, they wanted $4,000.
Jeez.
I go, well, were they good looking? He goes, no, they weren't.
$4,000.
$4,000 for Hicks from Virginia?
Jeez, that's weird. Either that they thought he looked incredibly stupid. One or the other. I don't know. Maybe.
Not many redhead.
Look at that. He'll pay $4,000 for it. Look how he looks desperate.
Why didn't you just exchange it for the Winnebago?
Well, I want to compare his Winnebago to my Winnebago. We'll have a bagel off.
Well, it's not his. It's my friends that went down and helped him get it. Helped him.
Of course, it's never his. It's never anything.
Nothing is ever his.
There's nothing tangible going on in his life. Leo, if you're listening, I'm telling you the truth. Get your ass down to this studio. If you can go to South Carolina and go to strip joints and be offered $4,000 for some side action, you can come down here for an hour.
It's true. It is true. I will have to relay that message to him.
People don't often agree with me, but I'm right on this.
Yeah, you are right on that one. And speaking of right,
son of a gun.
What is this hat that I keep looking at?
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you right now.
For those of you who don't know, since this is a podcast and not a video podcast, there is would that be like a red baseball style?
Well, it's a red hat.
A red hat.
And
does not say "Make America Great Again" on the front.
No. A lot of people do, like when I walk by, they go, oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
So,
what is that logo?
We'll have to take a picture. So you can say, well, you're looking at it on screen right now?
It looks like, from point in front of you. Doesn't it kind of look like, Elvis or the honky tonk man's hair there?
With the pompadour.
The little pompadour there.
You would be great at Rorschach tests. I even kept the little Flex Fit label on because that's what all the kids do now.
So explain the logo.
So FC, that stands for Food Challenges.
Food Challenges.
And I got to meet one of my internet YouTube heroes, Randy Santel. He has over 1.77 million followers on YouTube.
I watch Joel Hansen. You ever see him?
Who?
He's from Canada, Joel Hansen. He's one of these people, go on with your story. Do they bring out like a plate of hamburgers and you have a half hour to eat 50 hamburgers?
Yeah, he did, but he doesn't do it on his own. He'll do it he doesn't do it in his kitchen. He goes to restaurants that sponsor.
That's what this dude does, yeah.
He probably knows him, and that guy's probably actually done some challenges.
They have a little food network there, no pun intended.
But these guys, a lot of them have zero personality. And if it's not the zero personality, it's like they take the food and they just twist it and shove it in. Randy eats the food.
And explains it?
And he talks about it. He talks about the flavors and everything.
Sure,
He's a nice dude. He's very educated. He's got an adorable girlfriend. She's this tiny little thing. Randy's well over 6 feet, 275. But he's not he's a big dude.
He doesn't look like King Kong Bundy is what you're saying.
No, not at all. No, he's... But he does these food challenges, and I've been following him, and Tasha and I watch his videos. We're incredibly huge fans of his. So he did a local one down here in Medford. So I'm on Facebook one morning, and I said, all of a sudden, Randy's showing himself at Logan Airport, and he says, I'm going to be in Medford, Mass. tonight. So I text Tosh right away. I said, guess what we're doing tonight? She goes, what? He says, we're going to see Randy Santel. She goes, oh, my God.
I don't know who this guy is, but I'm going to start watching it. Yep.
He's really good. He really is. So we go down to Yoki, which is down in Wellington Circle in Medford. He ate a 10-pound bowl of ramen soup.
Wow.
It had chicken, noodles, vegetables, everything in it. You name it. I mean, it was 10 pounds without the bowl.
Was it 40,000 grams of sodium in it?
It was huge. He said that at one point. He goes, yeah, this is the sodium, man. It's going to be, But he did it with this young kid. Oh, God, I can't remember this young kid's name. He was great. He was doing his first real big challenge with Randy, and he got to do it with him. So the two of them polished off. The young kid finished way ahead of Randy, but Randy did beat the challenge. He got his meal for free, and he got his name up on the Wall of Fame. That's his thing. He's in Munich, Germany right now. He's going to be doing some over there.
Oh, these people, there's a few of them that I watch on there. Like I said, there's a guy by the name of Joel Hansen, and there's this British dude, and there's this really tiny little girl.
Yeah. That's Katina Eats Kilos. That's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's his girlfriend.
Okay.
She's a little doll.
Oh, that's right. They were in New England. I follow her on Instagram.
They were just, she was doing all the
she was
sites
all these.
here.
Okay, now I know exactly who.
I know. That's Katina.
The reason I found her was someone. This was around Christmas of 24.
Yep.
And a friend of ours named Sean Tempesta, shout out to him, big wig out in Vegas, was going across country with his dad.
Yeah.
And that should have been videotaped.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Remember Donnie and Friends?
Yes.
That's Donnie. That's his dad, Donnie T. So they went to this place in Texas, and it was kind of reminding me of the scene in The Great Outdoors with the old 96er. And Sean posted pictures of them eating this, they didn't get the 96er, but a giant steak. And I went to their website and they had videos, and I saw that girl, woof,
Yeah.
the 76 or whatever this ounce
Quincy
thing was.
could put her in his pocket. She's a little tiny thing.
Easily. Okay, now I know exactly who you're talking
All right.
about.
Well, check this out. I took a quick video. Hold on.
Did you get a selfie with them?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to
That's the outtake, okay? Then he did this for me.
This is Randy Santel, Atlas, and you're listening to Ricky Bittman's Jukebox.
That was pretty cool, huh?
That is very good. Too bad we didn't have the show and we could have got him down here.
I know. Well, I'll tell you right now, I thought of that. Guy's on an incredibly tight schedule. The next day he was over in Everett at...
In Everett, that's a tight schedule.
well, no,
Everett.
but he had a food challenge that day in the middle of the day. Then from there...
Where'd he go from Everett?
It's the deli, the Square Deli. And he did these 2-3 foot steak and cheese subs.
Oh.
And he did them.
Good for him.
And he did a couple more around here. He did them up in New Hampshire. And he ate at locals. They went down and they ate dinner at Bark and Crab. I felt like saying to him, when do you have time to eat dinner? Like, how do you even eat dinner and all that? But at any rate, but it was a real thrill to walk in and see
You
somebody.
didn't invite him to Peter Wu?
No, I didn't even mention that to him. But to walk in and see somebody that you've been following and just see them, and he was very calm and very nice. Now, when his video debuts, I'll have to show it to you because when he pans the audience, you can see
You're
his
there. You're there applauding.
And as a matter of fact, we had ordered some of the Asian dishes and some delicious ice cold Sapporo beer, Japanese beer. Oh, and he came over to our table and he filmed our meals before we started eating them. So part of the little montage in his opening will be some of our meals.
Wow.
But he was a really cool dude.
Hobnobbing.
Yeah,
With YouTubers.
Yep, over 1.7 million, 77 million followers. And when I asked him to sign my hat, Tosh goes, have him sign it to Rick. He goes, I don't usually sign them to people. I mean, you sure you want that? And I think, well, if you don't usually do it, then yeah, do it. So this might be very rare where he signed it to.
There you go.
And
There's
I had him do
no
Rick instead of Ricky.
There's no food stains on there, right?
No, this is very clean. This is a very nice hat. So look how clean that is.
It is a very clean hat. That is impressive. I follow those people. I watch the food challenge people on there and what. Sometimes it makes me sick. Like I'm watching the British ones and they're like slurping down.
No, you never see that with him.
Mushy peas and
Yeah.
all this other junk.
He eats everything very conservatively, but still manages to break the challenge. And one of the other things if he does throw up, and it's happened a few times, all of a sudden, like it'll look like the film broke,
yeah.
and it goes black and white, and you hear like a because you see him go like, and that's
Okay,
it.
that's funny you mention it because I follow his girlfriend, wife, whatever she is, on
His
Instagram.
fiance, they're going to be married.
Fiance, well, there you go, a match made in food
And
heaven.
they moved to Nashville, and I said to him, I said, Randy, what made you get to Nashville? And he goes, taxes. He's tight with the money. He knows how to handle his money, so he lives down in Nashville with his no sales tax.
You know what? Why doesn't he move to New Hampshire?
He likes Nashville.
Well, they have Nashua.
Ugh.
Well, excuse me.
Speaking of that, remember I texted you the other day. I've been watching reruns of Soap.
Yes.
And Chuck and Bob, he went, well, excuse me, which I thought was funny.
And you found they were using the same detergent as the Brady Bunch.
Dude, how did I spot that? That was amazing. I'm like, wait a
Safe.
minute. I know that. Safe.
Safe.
But we all know best is best.
That's right.
Best
But I
is
gotta ask
best.
you. I gotta ask you a serious question.
Oh,
This is like bugging me. You know how I love Tubi, and on the jukebox, I was one of the first people I think to really start watching Tubi, and I recommended it to all the jukebox
I've been watching
listeners.
Tubi for the last week.
Yeah. Now, okay, dude, my Tubi, and this is the honest to God truth, hand to God, and I can prove it. My Tubi only opens every other day.
See, I don't know. I'm not there every day, so I don't know that.
Will you start checking it for me just
I
to
will.
say?
I will.
If I watch it on a Monday, I'm telling you, I can't watch it again till Wednesday. So I emailed the Tubi people because I've done everything. I've refreshed.
You
I've cleared the
emailed
cache.
the Tubi
Well, that's
people.
what it says to do. I cleared the cache, which I do not recommend doing on your cable box. If you clear the cache, it takes every password of every app you use and wipes them completely out.
I won't be doing that.
And I'll tell you right now, I was so pissed when I had to go and reload all those apps.
Even the Brazzers one?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Wiped out. You can get that on TV.
Huh?
You can get the browsers on your TV.
Well, it's you have an internet connection to your TV. Sure.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What, you got to get through like Hot Stick or something like that? Fire Stick?
I'm not going to divulge the Brazzer secrets here on the podcast.
We'll talk about it afterwards then. I'm just out of curiosity. But so I emailed them, and they say, okay, I think I can help you with this. Get the serial number from the method you're watching it. Now, I said I'm watching it on Xfinity Smart TV. I want the number from your Android app. When did I mention Android? I never mentioned Android, so I got really pissed. You know we're dealing with somebody over in third world country.
Probably,
not paying attention to me. So I'm back to square one. I can only open my Tubi app on alternate days, and I got to be careful because I like to watch TJ Hooker on Sunday nights. And if I watch it on Saturday, I can't watch it on Sunday.
Well,
so will you do me a favor? Run a couple of experiments for me, please.
I shall. I will do that for you, Rick.
Try to do it every day.
I will do that every day.
Because I think I'm going crazy.
I mean, I can watch Land of the Lost reruns all the time on there. So,
But I will say, this soap was a funny show for the times. It really was.
I was kind of too young for soap when it came out.
Yeah, but it is a very funny show. And the comedian with the ventriloquist dummy, he's the whole show. It really is.
He's still kicking?
He is. He's I think he's 77 years old.
Well, that show was on, what?
70s. It was the 70s. It was not the 80s.
Probably 77, 78. It was pre-Benson.
And the episodes go by like nothing because they do have commercials and everything, but like they're nothing.
22 minutes.
Yeah, episodes.
Well, soap contains a guy that goes, Krause, you're ugly.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's where Benson came from. Of all the people that got a spinoff, Robert Guillaume got Benson, and that was on for like 7 or 8 years after that.
And all the hot chicks on it, Eunice and Corinne.
Oh, I met Corinne. Canova.
Diana Canova.
She did a convention with, what's her name from the old woman there? She was on Who's the Boss?
Oh, that's right.
Catherine Hellman.
Yes, very good.
They did a show with Roddy Piper, of all people.
Really?
So Jeff and I were over there talking to Roddy Piper doing Iron Sheik impersonations, and they're looking over and they go, "Are you? Where are you talking from? You from Iran or whatnot?" And then Roddy Piper goes, "Oh, well, they're just making fun of a guy I used to do a lot of drugs with."
Piper, man.
And what's her name was flirting big time with Piper.
Canova?
Hellman.
Oh, really?
Oh, big time. I was there with Signature Boy Donnie, and he had Alyssa Milano on his chest signed. And he's like, "She's such a wonderful girl, and she signed you. I'll have to sign you too." But the other chick there, Diana Canova, she didn't want to be there.
Aww.
She had, she was chatting it up with Mona from, Who's the Boss. And
She was cute, though.
And looking at Roddy Piper like, what the hell is going on here?
I had a big crush on her.
Did you?
Oh, when I was a kid, man.
Have you brought her up in your AI and bikinis or anything yet?
They wouldn't know who she is. You got to be really popular for AI
true.
to pick you up.
That is
they
true.
Wouldn't know who she is.
But yeah, I definitely remember that TV show Soap. It had Richard Mulligan and
I'm watching that the other day, and I'm like, I feel like I know these guys that do a Honeymooners podcast. I think Richard Mulligan definitely went to the school of Art Carney, Ed Norton. A lot of Ed Norton mannerisms from the Honeymooners. I know you don't watch that show that much, but he has a lot of. I think he borrowed a lot from Art Carney. He owes Art Carney a debt of gratitude.
I met him actually.
Richard Mulligan.
He was at an Emerson College graduation.
Did he talk like this?
He was well. He was also in one of my other favorite movies of the 1980s, Teachers.
He was in that?
Remember he played the escaped mental patient?
Oh, okay, that's
that
right.
went in and pretended to be a substitute teacher dressed up as all historical
that's
characters.
Right, like the George Washington outfit
Right.
on. Yeah, I do remember that now.
Very tall guy.
Yes, he seems it.
A very tall guy, and he was a very, very pleasant person when I met him.
And who else was on the show? Robert Urich played Peter. He was the guy who was having an affair with Corinne and her mother.
Okay.
And somebody killed him in the first season. And the whole thing was who killed Peter? Peter Tate.
So he had to go off to do Dan Tanner, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was probably Vegas. And Spencer and Hyde didn't happen until the 80s. But so he was in that. And who was the guy? I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he played, what's his name, in Slapshot, the one that put the war paint on and everything, and the cape. Jerry something is his name.
Jerry Hauser.
Jerry Hauser.
He played Marsha Brady's husband, Wally.
That's right. Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
he was in that. He plays the guy breaking into their house.
And he was also the voice of, I think, Snuggle or one of those
yeah, I think you're right.
teddy bears for some fabric softener.
Very good.
Jeff is funneling through us right now. Now, Jody
he was
in that.
Also the voice of one of the trees on H.R. Puffin stuff.
That's right, dude. He was. Killer.
He was the only
He was
banana
Killer
tree.
in
Killer.
Slapshot.
That was what it was. Killer. He was also in the Summer of 42.
I don't remember that film.
He played Oski.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a good actor, but he was in there. And
he's still kicking.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that dude doesn't do Comic Cons.
Yeah.
I mean, Slapshot is a classic.
Yeah, maybe saved his money. Who knows? Who's that giggling?
I have no idea. Is that you?
Is that Abby? Is she doing one of those negligee shows up there?
Well, we'll be right back. No, I have no idea who that is.
Prancing around in cha-cha heels up there, holding martini glasses, I bet. Any cameras hidden up there?
Speaking of Masha Brady, she reminds me of Masha Brady, a British Masha Brady.
Yeah.
Abby.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll do something for Coke. We don't know.
Artie Lang said it best. I mean, I could have got you for an 8-ball of Coke. Because, yeah, you could have.
Wow, man, imagine the Sheik knew that back in the day. Masha Brady, please.
Jan was right. Marsha.
Unbelievable. Speaking of that, I'm getting through my earpiece right now. We do have to take a big-time commercial break.
Darn!
And we come back, we'll have more fun on the After Hours with TC Restani, the podcast.
Hi, this is Quincy Briscoe. To all my fans, don't drink and drive.
Okie doke, we are back from that big time commercial break. Now, speaking of watching stuff on YouTube, I was talking about before the commercial break. I'm looking at all these different type of talk shows, getting back into the rhythm of things and whatnot. Do you know what stumbled across? And I didn't even know this actually happened. Did you know that Jerry Lewis had his own late night talk show in 1984?
I vaguely remember watching some clips of that on YouTube.
It was called of all things, the Jerry Lewis Show.
Can you?
And he had Charlie Callis as his Ed McMahon, and he was so annoying, making all these ridiculous noises. Well, the first episode had, of course, Frank Sinatra on.
Of course.
As the guest. Now, one thing that made no sense about this was 1984. And Jerry's like, well, you never do these type of shows, do you? And he's like, I've never done a late night talk show.
Oh, bullshit.
He was on Carson all the time. And he guest hosted for Johnny.
Yes, some of his most famous appearances were on Carson.
So Frank was either drunk
Jerry probably strong on
or it was on another network.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't think so because they were very tight, Carson and Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, but, he probably just figured,
But I maybe because it was on I don't know, it could have been on NBC. I don't know what channel it was on because it was on YouTube. But on that first show, he had Suzanne Summers singing out there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and she had on this purple sequin dress. And the topic of conversation was her over in France over the topless beaches.
Ooh.
But no one knew who she was over there.
Yeah. So
she was going around with her husband, except she told the story. She goes, I'm over in France. There's no cable TV. I don't know if we were syndicated over there. And this American guy walks over, and I'm sitting there with nothing, no top on, asking me how Jack and Janet are. But by 84, that show, she was long gone from that show.
She was off that show.
And the show was off the air by then.
Yep.
So just, the small world.
Now, that circles back to Barry Manilow.
He was topless on the beach over there with Suzanne Summers?
No, he could do it, though. But they were very close friends. Very, very, very close friends. They mentioned her when he was on some talk show. It was right after her passing, and he was very moved by it. They were very, very close friends.
She was a very talented woman.
Yeah, I always liked her. I had no problems with her.
No, but yeah, there's more episodes of the Jerry Lewis Show. I may have to watch it. But,
yeah, that sounds good.
But it was just, Jerry was being Jerry on there. I mean, the opening gag they had for the couple of shows that I watched was Charlie Callis kept, talking about, here he is, Mr. Entertainment, and you can hear Jeff saying, "Would you wrap it up already? I need to come out on stage."
We get paid by the hour,
That was a year after he was in The King of Comedy. And his band leader on The King of Comedy was his real-life band leader, Lou Brown.
Oh, Lou. Okay, yeah. He calls Lou out a few times in some of the performances. I've seen him lay into
So Lou was, doing the...
Lou, I tell you. They don't tell you, okay? Lou came in a little early with the music one day.
Oh.
He didn't do that again. I tell you.
I'd bitch slap Jerry Lewis and not even have a problem with it.
Well, he has a bad reputation, but I always am just grateful for the entertainment he gave me. The Bellboy, one of my favorite movies, comedy movies of all time. He was great in it. I like Jerry Lewis.
You should get cancer. I hope you get cancer.
That was a great line. So did Hitler.
So did Hitler.
Now, that was improvised, by the way.
A lot of that movie was improvised.
And that De Niro's reaction is genuine. Like when he says that.
It's probably surprised he didn't, laugh or anything.
So did Hitler.
So, Quincy, what have you been up to?
Nothing. Just
What now? We talked about it at the top of the show. You have this Band-Aid on your head, and you had a cyst on your forehead, on your temple. And explain to the people out there the surgical procedure you did in the bathroom down here at Restani Productions.
Please don't.
it started to break open, so I just simply popped it open and covered it up. That's it.
That's it, huh?
All right, well, there's got to be more to it than that.
No.
What came out?
Nothing.
Spider didn't come out of it, did it?
Well, it was a lot. Like I said, it looked like an episode of MASH with all the gauze with the blood all over it in the trash can down there.
It broke itself open, so I just...
It broke itself open? You just said you ripped it open with
It was starting to, so I had to finish it.
How did you rip it open again?
Took a cloth, and then just squeezed
So you
it open.
pinched it. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
And then now it'll heal itself back up quickly in a couple of days.
This isn't the first time you've performed self-surgery, is
Right.
it? You've done it quite a few times, from what I
Well,
understand.
every once in a while, if it comes back, just...
Now, do you draw the line at any like certain things where you say, "All right, this one I can't do. I gotta go see a doctor." Like say it was on your wedding tackle. You had like, would you do it yourself? I love it when people get my jokes. I love it. So I mean, if something's growing down there, would you just say, "All right, I'm not gonna screw with this area. I'm gonna go see a specialist."
Yeah. Well,
You would, though,
I
right?
suppose, yeah.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
You're not going to go down there with some sandpaper
Yeah,
and sand it down or anything.
A vacuum cleaner.
Oh, he's done that before with cysts before.
Yeah, but not if they were on your nuts.
No, you gotta let someone do that for you.
Okay, good.
Who are you going to have do that?
Hit the button.
There's probably a specialist for that, but
Those are applause.
there you go.
That just sucks down the milk over there.
But anyway,
Awkward pause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I my hat's off to you for doing that.
It is off because it's on the table. We're
It
looking
is.
at it.
It is. Well, this hat is invented, so I have to take it off because it's very warm. But I worry about you when you do things like that. So hopefully you just take care of that now. Don't let it get infected.
no, it's clean. It's gonna heal itself back up real quick.
All right.
Couple of days.
All right, well, can we count on that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I guarantee it.
I'll take your word for
I
it.
guarantee.
Important thing is, anyone that needs help, I'll go somewhere and I'll talk to the surgeon and say, hey, this guy needs help right now. Okay, so let's get him in here, and then just like we've done before, and if someone needs it again, then we'll go somewhere.
I'm
and,
due
hey,
to see my doctor this month for my annual checkup.
Really?
Hopefully everything goes well.
It will. It's like, because if it does, I'm not going to go and say, hey, what's the story here?
What's the story, Morning Glory? Let's tell me.
What's the story?
Shoot it to me straight, Doc.
Give it. I want some answers, and I want them right now.
That's right.
Don't keep me waiting, because I'm not going to leave here without these answer keys. And it seems to me I remember doing that for someone. That was a
Would you
long...
perform surgery if Barry Manilow had, throat problems?
Yeah, I'd learn how to take the surgery tools, and someone would say, okay, scalpel, then I would say, okay, antibiotics. And,
You wouldn't just give him hot mustard like you do?
well, that's for when you get a buildup, if I...
Build up of what?
Phlegm?
Yeah, that's just a phlegm buildup.
Dirty mucus?
Yeah, that's like, instead of using all these like inhalers,
You used to pop Mucinex like they were candy.
yeah. So I let me try some of this, and then, but then,
So you'd help celebrities out if they needed your medical advice.
Then next time I'll try and mix it with the Mucinex.
What if Alec came to you and asked you for some medical advice?
Alec?
Yeah, from Shriners. Quincy, I have a cyst. Can you tell me what to do with it? Help me.
Depending on where it is, you take a...
It's on my buttocks, my cheek, my left cheek.
very tiny sliver with an X-Acto knife. Make sure you clean the knife off.
Will you do it for me? I'll give you an adorable blanket.
No, you can have your blanket, but which is really not adorable, but
How do you know no, it's not adorable?
because I can get things that are a lot more adorable than a blanket.
What's more adorable than that, a blanket?
Yeah, it
Let's
is-
hear-
it is
what's your-
cute.
what's your definition of adorable?
I know, I'm sure I'll find something, but it sure ain't.
An old bird shit-stained tarp. That would probably be more adorable than Alec's blanket.
What you need is a hot needle, and that's
You
how
need,
you
a hot, you need a hot needle.
Hot needle.
Well, yeah, it's that way
Coming
you
through.
then you sanitize the needle, then you stick it right through, and then they get
The
right
needle
to...
and the damage is done.
Views expressed by Quincy Briscoe do not
Yeah.
reflect those of anybody on this side of the podcast
No.
table, so don't sue us
Yeah.
if you're out there sticking hot needles and things that you want to pop on your body.
Sue who? Sue everybody.
Not when you're going to sue. It's like... And then you get right to the root of the problem. Then you take antibiotics, and it'll heal itself back up quickly.
Well, there you go. He's, you know...
Well, Alec, if you're listening, if you get a cyst, you
But
know what to do.
in your case, I would get someone to do it for you because...
Oh, you don't want to help him?
No, besides...
You wouldn't pick him up and cradle him and hold him and try to make him feel better? Just go, that's okay, Alec. You're all right. You wouldn't like hold him and swing him a little?
You wouldn't cradle Alec?
Yeah. Give him a kiss on his forehead.
You mean he's a baby?
No, he's not a baby.
He's little. You could hold him.
Would you give him a reach around?
Would you think he was a midget?
Would you, Quincy? Would you give him a reach around?
Yeah. You wouldn't have the goddamn courtesy to give him a reach around.
Bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
We should have sound bites of that guy on this show. You fat body! A jelly donut.
Oh, I have to mention this because he's called me several times in the past 2 weeks.
Oh.
Colonel Bull
I was
Montana.
gonna say, how could we forget Bull?
Colonel Bull Montana, he called me. He goes, TC, we're listening to the shows up here.
Ah.
And can you please do a shout out to all my fine nurses up here taking care of me?
Do it.
I said, well, there we go, Colonel. So for all the medical staff, nurses, janitors, maids, mental defectives, and anybody else that's in the vicinity of Colonel Bull Montana, thank you on his behalf.
Yeah, thank you, Laverne. Thank you, Shirley.
There you go.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Viv.
There you go. All the celebrities from in the past to all the celebrities
In the future.
Okay, we thank you
Which
dearly.
celebrity female would you like to give a sponge bath from?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm asking you the question.
It's a hard choice because
There's one choice. Who would it be?
Just pick one.
Jesus
know.
Christ. Every time we ask you a question, I can't play favorites.
Well,
I'm
you're
gonna
right. You just said it
I'm going
for
to
me.
stick a needle in your friggin' eye if you don't answer the question.
I don't know. Maybe someone from Sex and the City. You never know.
All right, fine. There you go.
Look at that.
Which one? They're as old as the Golden Girls now.
Well, that's true, but they've been around about the same time as I've
You
been
like
around.
that show, don't you?
Once in a while, you go in there and have fun with it. You know,
All right. I'm just, I find
You
it.
want a little tongue action from Carrie Bradshaw?
well, she likes to go out and have a good time.
She looks like a foot.
She was cute in her younger days.
Well, why she look?
I never thought she was attractive.
Why does she look like a
I've seen
foot?
some pictures of her. She looked
Because
on.
her face looks like a foot.
She was in that movie with Steve Martin. She looked good.
You had to bring that one up, huh?
Ba-dum-bum.
That went over like a fart in church. All right, then, so he answered, you over there, Mr. Bittman.
Any celebrity, living or dead?
I don't care who it is. It's your sponge bath.
Sponge bath.
She's going to come dressed as a nurse. Who do you want to come in and give you a sponge bath?
Barbara Dare.
Barbara Dare?
Yeah, why not?
From Germany?
Is that where she was
She
from?
was from Germany.
Oh, she was hot.
She was, and for those of you who don't know who Barbara Dare is, go on your Google machine, but just make sure no one's around. She was one of those naughty mattress actress.
Well, you know, if I'm going to get a sponge bath, I mean, it's going to be from someone who's going to know what they're doing.
Well, who knows? She could have been a nurse over in Germany.
I was talking to this old guy one time. He was telling me about his first sponge bath when he was in the hospital. And he was like sitting, he says, no, this nurse came in and she was black. And I had no problem with that and everything, but I said, so what are you going to do? And she says, well, I'm here to give you a sponge bath. I said, whoa, really? Boy, she got in there. Whoa, she got up. And that's all he said. And I knew exactly what he meant.
And where was this?
He was in the hospital. This old guy. He used to tend bar back in the damn napkin. Jimmy V.
That guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about Jimmy V since I was like 12.
He left me one of his pewter horsehead highball glasses. And
Get out of here.
I still drink out of it.
I don't even, to this day, I don't even know what the V stands for.
I didn't either. I never asked him, but he had to go in the hospital. He was incapacitated, and he had to get a sponge bath. And
Well, I did not think I was going to wake up today and hear the name Jimmy V.
I should bring that glass up next time we're.
He's not still with us, right?
No, God rest his soul.
I mean, because he was like 1,000 years old back then.
Yeah, sharp as a tack. Served on. He spent time on Iwo Jima during the war.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Because I remember he had a limp.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, Billy, I don't know if it was that from the sponge bath or anything.
No, it was a little shrapnel.
Wow.
Shrapnel back in the day.
we should tell people about it. A lot of people probably don't know about the damp napkin.
I know. Well, we really should,
I mean,
Jeez, we should
now
have
that you brought up Jimmy, it's a good thing Bull's not here because they didn't get along.
Yeah, well, Bull crossed the line a few times.
No, I heard only stories of what him and Jimmy V did.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on one of them?
I know. I listen. What I don't think our audience could even handle what they did together. But one of the things that caused the riff was Bull vomited in an empty pitcher that was used for beer. It accidentally got brought to a table.
Well, you're talking about a guy who did eat X-Lax and almost die. So that pissed off V.
Well, yeah, because the patrons didn't really appreciate it too much, and he had no way to explain how that happened until he looked over and Bull went like this.
He just wiped it off.
Yeah, right up.
All right. So let's give the history of the damp napkin here for those of you who don't know, because it is a very important place to my life and Ricky Bittman's and Colonel Bull Montana's and even Aunt Petunia's, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set the Wayback Machine to like 1983.
Easily.
I was 12 years old. It was the summer after my father had passed away. And my mother says, you need a male influence in your life, because my grandfather went on a trip.
Yeah.
Him and my grandmother went on a road trip. So that summer, they weren't really around. So they sent me out to Las Vegas. All right. They didn't fly me out to Las Vegas. We drove out to Las Vegas.
That's the way to do it.
And I will never drive across country again. It was, and my mother dropped me off out there. Well, she didn't drive because she never liked to drive. It was a friend of hers because before I was born, my mother and her girlfriends used to drive across country all the time. So they knew how to get there. Mm-hmm. So it was the longest 3.5 days of my life.
I bet.
We didn't stop to see any of the sights.
You didn't do this in a Winnie Bagel either.
No, we did not. It was in a station wagon. It was like the one that the Brady Bunch had. It was a beach wagon. You're right. We filled the back of the rumble seat with so much food and toilet paper.
Zarex.
Oh, no. It was Zarex and... it was a sugary drink.
Funny face?
It was I can't believe I'm High C.
Oh, High C.
High C. Warm High C.
Yeah.
All right. That's what it was, because it was sitting in the back of the damn car for like 3.5 days. We didn't stop at one site on the way over there.
Not even the big ball of twine?
Nothing. Not even the biggest ball of twine in the world. No. So we get there, and I'm talking really off the outskirts of Las Vegas. This was not anywhere near the Strip at all. In fact, I don't even think I saw the Strip.
I think we're in kind of like a neutral zone.
It was like not far from Pahrump.
Nope.
It was in this like dust bowl of a nothing.
Rumor had it there was no zip code.
I believe it. Yeah. I would believe it. And it wasn't the biggest place in the world. It wasn't the smallest place in the world. But it had a stage for an audience, and it had the side room and my uncle's office, which is upstairs, that had all the security cameras. They were really cheap security cameras on these little dingy black and white monitors.
There was little monkeys in there drawing pictures of what they saw.
You know what? It could have been. And I was not allowed on the floor during business hours.
He wasn't.
But it doesn't matter because I could watch it on the security cameras
Didn't
anyway.
stop him, though, from coming out there. I saw him.
And Bull Montana was the first time our paths had crossed. He was the doorman / bouncer of this joint. God only knows how he got from Revere out to there, but I think he knew Uncle Phil.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah, they knew
somehow they knew each other from like Old Eagle Hill.
Yeah.
All right, whatever the hell Old Eagle Hill is.
Old Eagle Hill.
Do you know what Old Eagle Hill is?
There's
I think it's in Eastie somewhere.
It was built on a landfill made of just old tuna cans and toupees.
All right, well, whatever it was, they were chums from Old Eagle Hill.
Chums,
and that's what they said. They were chums. Maybe they're chumming for the fish. Who knows? Yeah. So I get out there, and it was a dry. They had the dry heat.
I love the dry heat.
And this place did not become open. I think the doors didn't open until at least 9 o'clock at night, and they closed at around 6 or 7 in the morning. Yeah, I mean, you would know you were performing there
to the public. Maybe
that's where the word after hours came from. Even though it was the morning, it was still
a lot of
after
people
hours.
in there during the day. When that door opened in like around noon, and the place flooded with light, it was just everyone scattered.
It was like that scene in From Dusk Till Dawn when they were like, opening the sun coming in and
exactly
all the vampires exploding.
100%.
It kind of reminds you of a little of the titty twister.
Yeah, I think there were. Yeah, and I think there were some vampires there.
Those probably still are there.
Yeah.
Aunt Petunia was a cocktail waitress there.
Not a very good one, but she was there.
Well, but she did a lot of bartering with these old time celebrities.
She did.
I mean, that's how we got. I mean, one of those Christmases, I got Sammy's glass eye for a Christmas gift. I don't have that anymore.
No, it's probably
I had to use it for bail money, not from me. Yeah. I don't want to mention it on the air. But you performed there. Yeah, that's where our paths crossed, and
right.
You took me under your wing.
Yeah, the best I could.
You did. Well, you did. I was fatherless, and I needed
saw
all
the talent. I said, this kid's going to go places. I was happy doing what I was doing, chasing UFOs, all that stuff out there.
That is true. That was long before Art Bell.
I had a lot of things going on, and every now and then I'd go into Vegas. I'd go to Batista's hole in the wall, but I'd always find my way back to the damn napkin.
Right. I heard through the grapevine that Petunia actually had either a shot glass or a napkin still from the damn napkin. I would like to get
She had very molasses fingers.
I would like to get my hands on that because there's some of my fondest memories.
Tell her to get her ass in here and bring it.
I don't know where she is.
Yeah, I don't either.
She got on a Greyhound bus a couple Thanksgivings ago, and I haven't seen her since.
Idiot.
I honestly don't know where she is.
Well, I'm going to have words with her.
Well, if you can track her down.
I'll track her down.
Well, you are Ricky Bittman. But, the fun...
you know what we'll do? We'll put a crock pot of Swedish meatballs on the doorstep. She'll show up with a box of toothpicks.
You remember that, don't you?
Of course. That was her favorite food.
That was at that Christmas party or was it at the New Year's party?
It was every party. That's all she was doing.
In the same toothpick.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Unless she dropped it or put it down or something.
Right.
Or started picking her teeth with it.
Yeah. Or it's stuck in some bar of soap somewhere in some motel.
When she had to shake hands with people, she'd take it and stick it in the bun and
I remember that.
And then put her hand out and then go back.
Swedish
meatballs.
We are blood related, but yeah, the damp napkin was one of the greatest places. You can't find anything about it online because not many people knew about it.
No.
It was a very secluded, members only club out in the day, and
bottled beer only, no cans, no draft.
Uncle Phil made that place into what it is or what it was. I mean, for the limited amount of people that were there. But name some of the talent, because I don't remember them offhand because I was too young and I was only there for a couple weeks in the summertime.
Oh, I mean, we had everything. We had stand-up comedians. We had magicians. We had people who did sleight of hands. We had grifting. We had the
what is grifting?
A guy would bring somebody up on stage and cheat them out of their money right in front of the whole audience. His name was Skeezick McMahon.
Skeezer McMahon?
Skeezix. And you know why it was Skeezix? Because Skeezix is spelled backwards the same as Skeezix spelled frontwards. And he'd get up and he'd start talking.
Was that like Mixelplix there or whatever?
Well, that's the name we're not supposed to be able to pronounce. But he had Skeezix McMahon. He'd bring a guy up on stage. He'd start talking. Before you know, he'd get all this information. Next thing you know, the guy would go back to, he'd end up owing Skeezix money. He grifted him right on stage in front of a live audience.
3-card Monty?
Not even that. He just convinced him to give him some money.
Pick which hand?
Yeah, exactly. It was like over.
Now, whatever happened to, what was his name again?
Skeezix McMahon.
Whatever happened to Skeezix McMahon?
The last time I saw him, he invented some kind of material that would repel the pricks of a cactus. And he was going to make millions on this. So you could wear it in the desert, and if you fell on it, so rumor has it he fell onto the cactus and he bled to death. I guess it didn't work.
Okay, well, see, I was not, did not have the honor to meet Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, and then we had a guy who was really good with yo-yos. That was Tim Clarity.
Tim Clarity?
Tim Clarity was good with yo-yos, but he was in there one time, and Yoko Ono was in the audience, and he was doing Around the World.
Was this before or after Lennon?
This was after John Lennon died. He died in 80, so this was like 1981. So it was like
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, he was doing Around the World, hit her right in the eye, and she had the kid Sean Lennon on her lap, and that didn't go over too well.
What was she doing there?
She was drinking.
She's just drinking.
Yeah.
Obviously, they probably didn't recognize her there because
no.
Most of them, it was damp and it was dim.
She had those dark glasses on, so it kind of looked the same inside as it did outside. And I think she was a little disoriented, but he hit her right in the eye with that Duncan butterfly.
Duncan, oh yes, the old-fashioned yo-yos.
Yeah, they're coming back. They sell them in market baskets.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but then you can tell the quality isn't there.
What other things happen there? It's one of those things that I want to know as much as I can about the damn napkin.
There was a woman, Karen Loftus, and she was a quick change artist. She would come out and she would change her clothes real quick. Have you ever seen a quick change artist on like the Jerry Lewis telethon? they would they'd spin around, all of a sudden like their clothes would just change.
I saw the movie Quick Change with Bill Murray when he was a clown that robbed the bank.
These people, they do these sweeping movements and dances, and then like something will happen. And it's usually two people, and the other person will do something, and the next thing you know, her dress is completely different.
No, I did
You've never
not.
seen a Quick Change?
I honestly, I have not. I've seen a lot of things in my life.
Karen Loftus was not the best quick change
changer?
artist.
Okay.
She would just go, all right, I'll be right back. And she would go off stage for like 15 minutes.
And then she'd come back in a different outfit.
That was pretty quick.
Well, half the people in the audience probably didn't remember anyway.
Goes, fucking quicker than my wife.
You know what? I couldn't stand that. I don't know. As a performing artist, up in my uncle's office, that fan that just rattled, that made that noise, sounded like a freight train.
The ceiling fan?
The ceiling.
Well, you know, did you ever look close? The numbers on the ceiling?
No, I never did.
Okay, if you look, there's a Dayglow orange sticker on one of the fan
blades.
Yeah, and there was numbers around there. And he used to fire up the fan, and people would lay bets, and then he'd shut the fan off, and everyone would stand there and wait for the fan to stop, and you bet your number.
That's probably why the motor burnt out on the damn thing, because he was doing it constantly.
On and off all night, for crying out loud.
Wow. See, I don't remember. See, that's why you're here.
See, they play the fan game, and everyone put their money down. Never bet on 4, but sure enough, 4 came out, and then, next thing you know, McMahon's up there grifting some guy out of his life savings. It happened.
Is that why they call him Phil the Fanatic? Fanatic?
Yeah.
I'm learning things about my uncle I didn't even know. That's been 40 some odd years.
That was a great game. I have to hand it to him coming up with that one, because you really didn't. You had the ceiling fan. You just wrote the numbers on the ceiling, and you get one of those orange. You used to go in and get the orange sticker from the supermarkets. You know how you go to the supermarket, they put it on your gallon of milk.
Right, the booze that you paid for it.
Yeah, and then if you're like a kid, they go, "Can I have some stickers?" And then the nurse, the cashier, would give them like a strip of stickers. Well, he would go in and just get the strip of stickers and go back and.
You think we should bring that back?
If we had a ceiling fan in here, that would be really a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
I mean, I've seen some fights in there. I'm not saying I didn't.
You had to see some fights.
I saw, but a lot of the times it was like watching Keystone Cops, because they were so drunk they'd be missing each other.
Yeah. One guy came in with a sharpened spoon one night. That was probably the most lethal thing we ever had in there. He was trying to scoop some guy's eye out.
Well, Bull was a hell of a bouncer. I mean,
he did nothing. He
didn't do anything?
No, he would egg them on, for Christ's sake.
I heard stories that he would try to put people through tables and whatnot.
Oh, if somebody got in his face, it was a different story. But I mean, as far as like bouncing people,
of course. If it didn't involve him, he wasn't getting physical.
He was there to watch. No, he'd put someone through the table in a blink of an eye. Right. Are you kidding me? He threatened one guy, said he was going to run a chainsaw up his spine.
A chainsaw up his spine?
Yeah. He would have done it right there on the floor of the place, too. It was dark enough. You probably wouldn't have
I wish he was here right now to comment on these things. And my first encounter with the female happened because of you in there.
I remember.
I was very. I mean, I think now you'd be going to jail for doing that.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't traumatize me at all.
We had to knock the rust off this kid early.
It was. She was a lot older.
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean, but back then no one cared.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Hey, you know what? It was the first time I saw
Suzanne Summers ain't walking through that door.
No, Suzanne Summers was not walking.
Let's put it this way. Yoko was the sexiest woman who ever walked through the door. Not including Aunt Petunia, okay?
Well, that's family there.
Family. La Familia.
But I do remember the burlesque shows that would come through there, and the burlesque bingo. Remember that?
Yeah. There was, there was that one lady, though. She would, the burlesque bingo, she would use her nipple. She would dip her nipple in the ink. And that's what she'd take her.
And I remember the woman had a voice like Ginger on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, really sultry.
B12.
Yeah, B12. And she went, what did she say? B12. And she'd like...
I don't need that shot yet.
And then she'd go...
Yeah, boob 12. That's what it should have been there. You know what?
Struggle watching.
You know what? If we had enough people who were still alive that remember the damp napkin, what a hell of a documentary that would have made.
It's like, people talk about Studio 54 and
fuck Studio
Plato's
54.
Retreat and all that bullshit. The damn napkin is where that was the place to be.
That was the place. It was a hidden gem in a dust bowl. Yeah. I mean, if you blink, you missed it.
Yeah. And the funny thing, for all the bad things that happened in there, the place smelled great. I can never understand that. Some used to say that your uncle used to pour Old Spice down the vents.
Well, that's why you probably use Old Spice to this day. It didn't have anything to do with the aloe from the cactus, did it?
Oh, the eucalyptus, maybe.
Oh, eucalyptus, yeah.
Bull, that was Bull's first aid kit, by the way. Everyone says someone got cut. He goes, I got eucalyptus plant.
Surprised you could say eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus.
Hey, very good.
But you're not Bull. I could get you doing it. Quincy, I wish you were back out there. You would have been headlining the damn napkin for crying out loud. But our paths didn't cross yet, so you weren't out there. And I don't think your Honda Hawk would have driven 3,000 miles to Vegas.
That tiger stripe jacket. Pooh,
oh my God! What tickets? You would have been box office, my friend. Box office.
Now appearing Quincy.
Well, thanks.
We should. You know what? We should. I don't even remember what the logo looked like. We should get. You must remember. I have something somewhere. I know Petunia had the thing, and we should get mock-ups of the napkins with the damp napkin.
Yeah.
I remember it was it a shot glass that was spilt?
Yeah.
And it was like it was damping the napkin.
Yeah, it looked like it was salt water. Like it was kind of eating away the napkin a little bit.
Right,
Black
right.
cocktail napkins. The cheapest of cocktail napkins is a blackjack.
Uncle Phil.
Yeah. So.
Is that? I hope you don't mind my asking. I'm going to ask just one more time. You have me so curious. That wouldn't happen to be the Uncle Phil from the good old TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, this is my Uncle Phil.
All right, okay.
Uncle Phil Restani.
Oh, all right.
All right, I have nothing. It wasn't some dude from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was like decades later.
All right, well.
This is my Uncle Phil.
Oh, all right, okay.
And you think all this conversation just started because you brought up Jimmy V.
Well,
I'm more concerned with Sex in the City and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
All right.
You need to get right with God.
I'm right with him, 100%.
So so basically your fantasy is to have a sponge bath from Carrie Bradshaw while hanging out with Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I just once in a while get a kick out of some of these old TV shows, like from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to another old TV show with a guy that goes, Harriet, there's a wagon in the living room!
What show is that?
I couldn't hear him. He yelled it.
He said Harriet.
Harriet, there's a wagon in the living room!
What show is that?
Family Matters.
I never watched that.
Oh, yeah, with Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Right. I never watched that show.
I just once in a while. Did I do that? Well, the only good thing
He'll
about
be in the headlines again very soon when they bring him up on the stand with Diddy.
Well, the thing about that show, I guess the highlight was screaming Carl Winslow all the time.
He was screaming already.
Was that was that on the TGIF lineup?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to watch Just the 10 of Us because I had a thing for the redheaded girl on the show.
There you go.
Jamie Luna. Do you ever watch Just the 10 of Us?
No, but you told me about her, though. We actually looked at her on the podcast.
Did I ever tell you the time that she was doing Chiller back in 2009?
I think you did, but I'd love to hear it
And
again.
she was completely intoxicated.
Yes, you did.
And she brought me over and she goes, "Hi, I never aired the promo." She's going, "Hi, this is Jamie Luna, and you're watching."
Oh, you have to.
After Hours. And she goes, I go, "Can I get a picture?" And she's like, "Come on, man." And she took my hands and put them
On her chest.
on her big boobs. Wow. And I'm saying to myself, as I am standing there in complete shock, I'm like, if my 16-year-old self knew that in 2009, the chick that you watched on Friday nights on TGIF on Just the 10 of Us, you'd be feeling her up at a Comic-Con in New Jersey.
Yeah.
No one would believe that.
No.
Not even me.
No. That's big.
Though they were.
Yeah.
They were, oh man.
That's a coup, as they say.
That is a big time coup. Speaking of big time, Quincy, why don't you wrap up the show?
Yeah, why don't you?
It's that time already.
You didn't believe us?
Time already. What, did we make this up?
Well, we want to thank you for watching a very special episode that we hope to see you again soon. So as always, please drive home carefully. Don't drink and drive after what we've seen out there, in some of these places. And again, remember, we never close.